Okay, day 14. This marks 2 weeks of the Juggle Challenge, the 1,000 Juggle Challenge. And I'm still on 100 in a row. That will change tomorrow when we go to the, in air quotes, Elite 8, rather than the round of 16, going up to 250. But for today, it's the last day of 100s. So here we go. We'll see how quickly we can make this happen, and then maybe give a little bit of a post-mortem on the US. Okay, 1,000, some good runs of about 200 and change. So we're gonna take a quick break and then come back and break it down. Okay, everybody else is talking about the US loss and what does it mean and what does it require for the future and a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give my 2 cents here because, hey, this is my media. But anyway, I'm going to make an unfair comparison, but at the same time, I think it's worthwhile to think about things in a certain way. First of all, who are the biggest winners of the tournament? So far, obviously, we don't have an ultimate winner, but based on who's left, there's a few people who may make it like an outsized win, like England or something like that. But so far, the biggest winners of the tournament are Cape Verde. Why? Did they win the World Cup? No, they did not. What did they do? They exceeded expectations, and therefore they got the eyes put on them, and they made a superstar out of their goalkeeper, Vozinha, and a variety of their other players. Also showed so extremely well that people stood up and took notice, especially the people in their country. Now, what is that going to do? Okay, it is going to increase tourism in Cape Verde. It's going to increase the value of the players who actually played well. It is going to inspire some 5-year-old kid in Cape Verde who watched the team, who went to the parade when the team went back, and they absolutely love the sport of soccer now, sport of football in that country more than likely, Portuguese speaking. And that kid is going to do, something akin to what I'm doing, which is going and working with the ball every single day. And that kid is eventually going to get seen by somebody who is going to bring them into a very small and modest club. And then what's going to happen is that kid is going to become the best player on that particular team and rise through the ranks of that club, maybe go up an age bracket or 2, and then he's going to get discovered by a club in another country because the Cape Verde system just doesn't support the level that kid needs. And what happens is the money from that sale either goes directly to the youth club, or as he gets sold on, there's a percentage that goes to them. Now, that kid is probably going to be poor. Sorry, it's just the way of the world. And his vision for his future as a soccer player is the thing that is going to save his family, make his life better. It's going to turn things around for not only him, but also possibly he'll look at it as he gets to be a hero in his nation. It's why, you know, the Kenyans and Ethiopians create so many great marathoners, et cetera, et cetera. Now, take the juxtaposition of the US, all right? Even if we did do better, which we didn't, obviously, the game is the game, all right? And they had a bad game, and if they had done better, what would have happened, okay? First of all, the US World Cup, minus the team, this is a win. This is us getting to show the rest of the world what we are like as people, and we have come off extremely well. We've put on a good tournament overall, but in the end, that loss, and you take a kid who even does get inspired by what happened, and they want to be part of the change that's going to win us our first World Cup. That same 5-year-old kid, poor, someplace in the middle of nowhere, in Kansas or in the inner city someplace, and he starts going out and working with a soccer ball every single day, but he's never going to get seen. He's never going to get picked up by a club, never going to get the opportunity to play at the highest level because of the fact that there is a system in place that is set up to reward people who can afford to play. All right? And obviously something needs to change, because if by some chance that kid was to, you know, have a really nice community member who like scholarships their entrance into the club, and he goes on to the next club, well, you know what? The first club doesn't get any monetary compensation for the training that they did on that kid or anything along those lines. So in the end, what is functionally our problem is that at no point is the system going to create the soccer players that we need in order to make our national team great. All right. I've been a huge proponent for years of MLS. I want that league to do well. I'm also a proponent of any professional league soccer in the United States. We don't have enough teams. I'm a huge fan of the Hill City FC, which are in Lynchburg, which is where I used to live until about 3 weeks ago. But all of these things need to improve here in this country in order for us to even sniff at being what we need to be. All right. Now, I am still a huge proponent of U.S. soccer. I want us to do well. Oh my God, I want us to do well. But in the end, we need to take a real hard look at what it is that we're doing and where we are failing. And mostly it doesn't come from a lack of resources. It doesn't come from a lack of interested people. It comes from a top-down mentality that doesn't allow for that 5-year-old kid to ever get to where it is that they aspire to be, because of the fact that the system is closed off to them. It's unfortunate, and I hope that it can get fixed. But the problem is we also have the American culture. If we were able to have a genie snap his fingers and we have zero soccer history and we can build it with just the American mentality and start from ground up, there would still be a lot of problems, because of the fact that there are still going to be people in this country who want their kid to have the very best of whatever it is. And money speaks louder than talent if your system isn't set up to absorb that talent, rather than it needs the money in order to survive. So that's kind of my rant for a few minutes on how we got to where we are and what it is that we needed to do in order to fix. But, you know, ultimately, more than anything, if we don't show that we care enough about this sport, and I'm glad that we saw glimpses of that the American public would grab hold of this, but we could do it more than every 4 years, and especially every, you know, however long. It's been 30 years now since 1994. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day and keep working. We'll get there. Up the posh.